Tonight I'd like to talk to you about satanic faith, satanic truth. What I mean by this is you have a bunch of different faiths out there. From Christianity, Hebrewism, Judaism, uh, paganism, Wicca, voodoo, and a whole bunch of others. Now, the Christians attack each other along with the world, and if you don't go along with their philosophy, their point of view, you're of the devil. Hebrew, well, they basically follow the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible, or otherwise known as the 5 books of Moses. The Quran, well, I don't even think that's a philosophy or a faith, but, to each its own. Voodoo is dark magic, a lot like Wicca. But this is what I want to talk to you about. Satanism, certain Satanists, they talk about a united front. Christianity talks about a united front. Although Christianity talks big about fighting a war. We are fighting a war against the devil, they say. Well, guess what? The devil's already won. Seriously, I mean, you got all these groups attacking each other, as well as the world. What I mean by this is, you talk about making a better world through spiritualism, through physical living. Did you ever stop to think that the world doesn't want to change? And if it does, and they're just looking for the right leaders, then maybe it's time for them to step up. Maybe it's time for that type of leader to step up and actually start to lead. Because I do agree with Reverend Cesar 999, who basically created the Vampire Church. Sure, he attacks the Church of Satan and a few others as well, but he makes some valid points. I've tried getting in contact with the Church of Satan, and they don't answer me. They don't answer my questions. They don't, basically respond to anything I ask of them. I let them know, I'm a Satanist, I want to join your church. Don't hear anything back. So, Reverend Cesar is correct on that front when it comes to the Church of Satan. They've cut themselves off. And to me, I agree with him because they're a thing of the past. Even though I do respect their philosophy, I do respect their ideals and their morals. The Church of Lucifer. The Church of Lucifer is another one. The founder of that created the demonic Bible. I agree fully with a lot of them, with his point of views, as well as Reverend Cesar's. Now, the Brotherhood of Satan, I also agree with. But I also agree with paganism and Wicca, or witchcraft, if you'd like to call it that. But I also agree with some of the morals and philosophy of Christianity in this point of view. Because you have leaders and then you have followers. The military has military rank. And why I bring this up is because the orders go down and they're followed. If you don't follow it, you're court-martialed. Well, I believe the same needs to be done within the faiths. You got all these people in the world looking for a leader, looking for a purpose. And yet, nobody really gets together and tries to fix things. You got the government, which sits there and bitch, pisses, and moans about this and that, and nothing gets done at the end of the day. But yet they make millions of dollars for just sitting on their asses and talking and complaining. I think it's time for the elders of the covens, the groves, to step up and form what I'm going to call the Order of the Black Thorn. We need to step up and start taking responsibility for the world. We need to start leading the world into a better future. We need to step up, guide them spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally, where everybody is equal. There is not going to the point where there is no high class, middle class, or even lower class. We got too many people homeless, living out of shelters and on the street. We've got too many people working their asses off, just barely scraping by, which we call the middle class. And then you got all these rich people in governments and business that don't take responsibility for their actions. They just sit there and want to get richer. It's called greed. And you know what? Why don't you spread some of that greed around? When the economic, businesses are falling, they're losing ground, money is tight, why don't these rich people get off their asses and stop bitching and actually spread some of what they make around? Like the president or senators, representatives. Donald Trump, for an example. Actresses, actors. These people are the reason why the world is what it is today. And things will never change until the world, including faiths, come together, stop fighting amongst themselves, and declare in one voice, in one culture. Enough's enough. We need to change. And you gotta want to change to do it. So until that day, you're gonna live in poverty. You're gonna work your ass off for nothing. For minimal wage that basically wouldn't feed a dog. And then the rich is just gonna keep on getting richer, like the days of Nixon and Reagan. Because that's what this world's about now. So, what do you say we just get up and say, enough's enough. It's time to change. With one voice, one faith, one baptism or not, depending on which faith you're in. And let's just move ahead for the future. Not the present, not the past. Enough with judging each other. Enough with judging the world. Christianity, gotta go. I've seen how you handle things. You're gone, as far as I'm concerned. And I'll fight you in any way possible. You want to talk scripture? Let's talk scripture. Any other faith wants to go to toe-to-toe? Bring it. Because I'm not going to bow down to you. Today is independence. We need to rise up and make a statement. We need to rise up and change the world instead of sitting back and talking about it. That's one of the reasons I made this video. Because I agree with Reverend Cesar 999. He may be a loony, may be a hypocritical moron in a lot of cases, but he makes sense. So what do you say? Let's do it. In nomine di nostri Satanis Luciferi Excelsi. Hail Satan. Have a good night.